Ladies and gentlemen, get ready to be entertained, enlightened, and educated about men's secrets, and dating advices decoded as we dive into another episode of Men's Secrets Exposed podcast and show. Hello again, lovely listeners. Welcome back to a brand new episode, a brand new week. Hope you had a good weekend. Hope you enjoyed yourselves. Hope you're getting some information from previous episodes that we have going on. Welcome back to Men's Secrets Exposed. I'm your host, comedy magician Dewayne Hill. We want to get all your questions answered as much as possible. We are welcoming back a lovely, amazing female co-host with a lot of valuable insight. Ms. Chase, say hello.
Hello. Thanks for having me back.
All right, so we're going to try to get through a lot of questions here. We've been running a little long, giving y'all all here 2 for 1. We're going to try to keep this a little bit shorter. We're going to move through these questions a little bit fast, and we're going to jump right into it. Chase, you ready?
Yes, I am.
All right, so the question is being asked, why does it seem like men think with their genitals and not with their brain?
Because puberty.
Because puberty. That's your answer. Because puberty.
Because, all right, that was easy. Next one. No.
Because puberty. Well, a lot of it. Well, why do you think it is, Miss Chase?
I think that it has been culturally acceptable for them to kind of talk about that more than women have. Women are sexual creatures as well. We are also very sexually driven. However, the culture of boys will be boys, the constant push, and this is going to make me sound like a prude, which I am not, really not, but the constant blatant sexual push that is always put in front of men is impossible to ignore versus how it's pushed on women. Women are pushed to look a certain way so that men will look at them. That is that's in culture, it's in music, it's everything. It's on the web. So it's almost an excuse. I mean, you're feeding the fire.
Yes. That is very true.
Why would they change?
Well, yes, that is very true. A lot of truth
I mean,
there.
they're allowed to. Not just they're allowed to, they are encouraged to.
Well, okay, there's a cultural thing. Let me get into something here a little different when it comes to something that a lot of women are not aware of, okay? And this is going old school back to the series Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. And a lot of women don't understand this about men. You know, when men are out living life and we're doing what we do, there's a certain part of us we have taught ourselves, or it's been ingrained in us, that when we get in certain types of work mode, we tend to shut a lot of emotions off. Mm-hmm. Okay? And I know this is going to sound like, oh, Dwayne, you're just making an excuse. Men are just horn dogs. I know how this is going to come out, but that series, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, this guy, if I remember his name right, was John Gray. He talked about this very fact. When men shut our emotions off, the easiest, fastest way to get back in touch with those emotions is for us to have sex.
Okay.
So when men have sex, it gives us permission to get back in touch with the more nurturing, caring, compassionate, sympathetic side that we have shut off in the course of the day because we're probably doing a job or we're working and our emotions are go home, sit on the couch. But we have to do this to provide certain things or to live a certain lifestyle. And we can't be emotional about those decisions because we're not taught that. We're taught, put your emotions to the side, do what needs to be done, deal with your emotions later. And for a lot of men to get in touch with their emotions, that them having sex is the gateway for that to happen.
I find that that's very dangerous, though, because
That is how we're made.
Where's the difference between lust? Because that almost sounds like you need to gratify a lust in order to have a trickle down effect for them to care about anything.
That's a very interesting way to summarize it.
Yeah,
but the truth, there's a lot of truth to that.
I don't know.
You don't know because you don't agree, you don't understand.
Not that I don't agree. I don't buy that. I don't think that.
Okay, well, let me ask you this question.
In order to get to.
Let me ask you this question.
Because we
let
go
me
back
ask you
to
this
that
question.
Old stereotype, like.
Let me ask you this question, Chase.
You tell
Chase.
a woman that you love her so you can have sex with her, or
Chase.
women have sex so they can feel love.
Chase.
Yes.
Can I ask you a question?
Of course.
You don't buy it.
I think it's very.
Let me ask you this question.
Okay.
I've been a man for over 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
How long you been one?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Exactly.
Nope.
Now,
Old lady over here.
I'm explaining how we're made.
I think that might be a very specific thing.
Okay.
I'm going to ask.
By all means.
I'm going to ask my brothers. I'm going to ask.
Think about this question.
Male friends.
Think about it like this. The basic fundamental thinking is that women may ask for a man for certain things after they have sex. And the default programming that a lot of people think is that he's willing to think win-win. Remember, we changed the phrase. Compromise. Think win-win after sex because he just got laid, right? That tends to be
before
no.
With the promise of getting laid.
Could be.
I mean, isn't that how the whole ridiculous dating scene is set up?
It could be.
You impress her, you take her out, you do all this crap, so
but
you hope you get laid.
You can ask any sex therapist, any shrink, when are men more susceptible to open conversation, and it's always right after sex. And the reason why, you can ask anybody that, they'll tell you that. It's because that is when they are that is when they are in touch with most of their feelings the most is right afterwards. That, you can look that up all day. You can ask any man you want. After he has had the release, this also feeds into, why don't men want to cuddle after sex? They don't want to feel that vulnerable. That's why it can be easy for a man afterwards to get up, get dressed, and leave, because he doesn't want to show that side of him being weak.
Yeah, but that contradicts what you were saying. If
what?
After sex, then we have this trickle down effect to feel love. Why do they have one night stands more easily than women do? Women get emotionally attached.
That's just that in a sense is just a physical release. That's just a need for variety. Just a need for, different sexual experience. That's all that is. But when a man is in a relationship or he is in something that's semi-serious, and let me tell you something, that's a very wrong stereotypical thought process. Men are just as emotional about sex as women are. We're just better at hiding it. Okay. I mean, just as many. We had this conversation came up in one of the other podcasts not too long ago about this whole friends with benefits thing. This isn't a one-sided thing where it's like you do the friends with benefits and then all of a sudden, the woman wants a relationship. No, that happens just as much with the man.
Okay.
The man, he gets involved and it starts out to be physical, and then the more physical it is, the more emotional he gets, and the more emotional he gets, he wants it to be more. That happens, that door swings both ways. It's a very stereotypical thing to think, well, men are less emotional when it comes to sex. That ain't true at all. We're just very guarded when we hide it, and that's why a lot of men, why don't men want to cuddle after sex? Because we perceive showing that soft side of us as us being weak, and a lot of men are guarded on that. But like I said, if you think what I'm saying is I'm off my rocker,
no, I'm definitely going to do, ask around, because it's very interesting.
Check it out.
But back to the original question, like,
yes.
Why do men think with their genitals?
Yes.
I mean, that I don't think it's because they're searching for love.
No,
I think it's
that's definitely true. No. It ain't. This is my quest. This is my path to happiness and love. No. They just no. But I'm saying when that happens, that unfortunately becomes the gateway to other emotions that they have turned off in the day. John Gray said that probably, I guess, 30 years ago now.
Yeah, I've
Look it up.
Been a fan of that book.
And this is a thing that happens a lot. A man can explain how a man thinks, and because a woman doesn't understand it, sometimes they tend not to want to agree with it. And
yes, I will be like, yep, you're right. You're 100% right. However, I know this is why you have a different viewpoint. It sounds so, I guess, anti-human. Taking away the genders, it sounds very, very cold.
Newsflash. That's how we're made. Hey guys, again, thank you for listening. We appreciate your feedback. Appreciate everything that you're giving us. The questions, keep them coming in if you're enjoying what we got going on. Much appreciated. I am attempting to do a much bigger overall scope of entertainment, and I'm trying to sign a multi-project deal with Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, or Apple. If you're enjoying this and you think it would be good on their platform, think this could help other people, and you think this would be beneficial, please reach out to one of those four, or all four, matter of fact, Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, and Apple. Let them know that you dig what we're doing, and let them know that you think it would be good on their network. Thank you. Bye. We're made to survive.
Well, we all are. I mean, we all have our own survival skills.
That's how men are made to survive. That's how we're made. That's how we're wired. That's how we're programmed. That's our programming. That is our operating system. The name of this podcast is Men's Secrets Exposed. And I challenge any man that wants to think different, please, brother, fellas, my dogs, bros, bruz, text in and tell me I'm wrong. You ain't going to do it.
Please do.
You ain't going to do it. They can't. That's how we're made. Any shrink will tell you that. Any shrink will tell you that. For real. It's the truth. It might be shocking, but it's not shocking to men. It's like, yeah, that's how we are. Okay, cool. Okay, that's how we are. All right, what's for dinner? What we eating? Okay, where we going to get wings? And that's it.
I don't know. That just seems so simplistic.
Yes. Yes. Men are very simplistic. 1, 2, hot, cold. Yes or no. 100 or 0.
I can't agree with that, though. With all of the phenomenal male authors and poets and painters and composers and architects, and there's ample proof of these many different shades between black and white that men are capable of communicating and creating.
They are, but it's a learned behavior. It's a learned behavior.
What is?
Them being able to do that, because we're not wired to do that. It's a learned behavior.
Is it a learned behavior, or is it a unlearning of the normal behavior?
It's a combination of both.
Okay.
Either way, it's an active effort to say, I have to be a better human being.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. That I will accept. That I will take.
If you don't, if you don't step out and say, I have to be different, I have to learn different, I have to learn how to process my feelings different, I have to be able to articulate what I'm thinking, and not just want to punch a wall.
Yeah.
You have to make an active effort to do that. Unfortunately, a lot of men don't. A lot of men are lazy. Men, you're making us look bad. Men, you got to take an active effort to say, what am I really feeling, and be able to do that without having sex. You got to be able to articulate, okay, I'm pissed off about whatever, and explain yourself without throwing a vase. You know what I mean? But that's an eagerness to want to be better.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I hate to talk about the team, but a lot of men, they just don't care. They don't care. They don't care enough to want to change to be a better person. And that, unfortunately, is where we get into this whole disconnected, this whole caveman primal brain, that there's a lot of things you have to unlearn, and there's a lot of things you have to stretch.
Yeah.
That as they say, that cortex, and say, okay, I got to figure out a better way to do this. That takes effort.
It does take effort.
One
of my favorite books by one of my favorite authors, who is his man, Rainer Rilke, and his book, Letters to a Young Poet. He talks about that, the process of bulking against cultural, societal norms of what it means to be a man. And it's fascinating. I love it. See, this is why I like these questions. This is great.
Yeah.
We need some comments. We need some feedback.
Absolutely, 100%. If you got a question or comment, call it in, 813-534-0169. Text in your question, 813-534-0169. Leave your comments. Text in your comment. If you're listening to the podcast and you got something to say, text it in right now. And we'll get to it eventually, and we'll share it with the other podcast hosts. Another quick question we have: when meeting women, when a man meeting a woman for the first time, why don't men ask more questions than basic surface questions like "What's your favorite hobby and favorite food?" That's an easy answer.
Okay.
Men. When I talked about the primitive, basic male brain. Mm-hmm. There's about 4 or 5 things in a man's world we put in the category of given. That's a given, right? Mm-hmm. Anything outside of that's a given, men don't have a lot of emotional, what's the word? I don't know. A lot of emotional feelings about one way or another.
I think it's different, kind of like emotional intelligence or even emotional psychology. I will have to agree with you. Women will be around each other, and we will know stories, we'll know details, we'll know birthdays, we'll know anniversaries, we'll know how someone proposed, we'll know all this stuff. Men can know each other for years and not know what the other's job is.
we don't need to know that. See, it's like, men communicate.
That to me is fascinating. I want to know stories. I want to know so much. And guys, they're fine. They show up and they have a beer with me. That's good.
I mean,
what do you guys talk about?
I remember my homeboy hit me up and was like, "Hey," he said, "Hey man, I proposed to so and so." I said, "For real?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Man, cool." I said, "When's the date?" He said, "Oh, we're going to get married here in so-and-so." I said, "Cool." That was it.
Yeah, that's not how it would go.
I don't need to know, well, how did you decide to do it? How did you set it up? How did you do it? What did you say? What did she do? What was her reaction? What was she wearing? What did she do afterwards? Where did y'all go eat afterwards?
Yep.
How are you going to set up the wedding? Are you going to have both families there? Are you going to do an outside wedding? Are you going to do an inside wedding? Are you going to elope? Are you going to go to Vegas? I didn't need to know all that. He said, "Hey, man, I proposed." I said, "You did?" He's like, "Yeah." I said, "Are you sure?" He said, "I'm a little scared." I said, "Yeah, I know." I said, "When's the date?" "Oh, we're going to get married so-and-so." I said, "Man, cool." He said, "Cool." And we talked about something else.
Wow.
That was the extent, because I know all the information. I got the big picture. Big picture is he made a decision. He proposed. She said yes. He's nervous about it. And the date's right around the corner. I don't need any more information.
See, I want to paint the picture. I want to know exactly what he said. I want to know how he did it.
I don't even think I asked him if he got on one knee. I don't think I even asked him that. And I know that's probably pretty pathetic, but
no, it's not pathetic. It's just, I guess what it is. We want to know all these details because we want to picture it so we can join in her excitement, so we can see, oh my gosh, yes, so we can relate more with her. And then also, I'm not gonna lie, it gives us more insight into what this kind of individual, who he is.
Okay,
did he plan it?
Is that fair?
Yeah. Oh yeah. We're always putting psychological profiles together.
Okay, but is that fair? You don't even know the guy.
But I will know more about who he is by knowing all of those details.
Okay, pause, time out. Let's pause. Okay, I'm going to grab sword and shield and defend the male team here just for a second.
No, there's no defending.
I mean,
you know people by their actions.
But
so
you don't.
We are taking actions, and we are just putting them in a file.
Okay, so you're making decisions, but you're making decisions based on this dude that you never met on a version of her story.
Well, of course. Hopefully she was the only one there, and if she's not a liar and I trust her, then, it's different. Like, did he plan something? Okay, cool. He's a planner. He prepares.
Okay, but
it's just little details.
Okay, but you asking these questions and making these decisions based on the information you're given without meeting him, how is that fair to him?
Well, it is. That's a very bold move right there to ask someone to marry you. He's serious. I'm happy for my friend. It's just I want to know if, come on, man. You're telling me that you wouldn't judge your friend if he proposed to his girlfriend in a McDonald's versus like a garden or a beach? Of course you're going to make a judgment call. Like, really? You popped the question in McDonald's? Why? Is that where you met? No. Did it mean something to you? No. Then what's wrong with you? Don't tell me you wouldn't be like, bro, seriously, step it up. Yeah. Come on now, be honest. That would just be pretty. I'd be like, my first question would be like, dude, were you drunk? What's going on there?
So to this question about men asking very, very basic questions is because men, a lot of times by default, we tend to default into the category of outside of those things that are a given, we really just want the woman that we're around to be happy. I mean, you got about 4 or 5 givens that men tend to focus most of their energy on. Outside of those things, we just want you to be happy. Everything else doesn't make much difference to us. And it doesn't mean that we don't care about the situation. It doesn't mean we're not as into you as you're into us. It doesn't mean that we're not into the relationship. It just, men spend 80 to 90% of their mental capacity and emotional intelligence into those 4 or 5 categories of this is a given that they have to sustain. And anything outside of that it's fine, but I don't have an opinion one way or another as long as she is half happy. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. But I will put this out there that men who I've gone out with, one of the biggest things that catches my attention is when they ask me interesting questions.
Yes, if they're smart, they should do that because they should try to get a gauge of what you are as far as your fundamentals, how you problem solve, what you think about big picture stuff. They, if they're not very surface and they're really considering you as a potential life partner, they need to get into those questions and figure out what kind of person you are aside from the fact that, whatever, this woman's attractive and we're cool, but can I really vibe with this woman? And man, you need to get a little bit deeper into those types of things. Another quick question we have is, why do they always I don't. Oh, why do they always want what seems to be on the other side or across the street?
Ooh, who's they?
I think they're asking about men. Why do men? I think that's a question about men. Why do men tend to? I guess I'm changing the word from they to man to men. Why do men tend to always want what's on the other side or across the street?
Because they're not close enough to see the cracks, the faults, the flaws.
Very
Anything
true.
we have a distance from, we tend to idealize, I suppose, and that could go both ways, really.
Yep, that's it, 100%. And
Yeah.
this or that looks a certain level of attractive from afar, but it's going to have its own share of issues or baggage or drama or whatever. So, it's like that new thing. It's new, it's shiny. It doesn't seem to be anything wrong with it until you get a little bit close to it and you feel like, and you figure it out. So now you had a question. We want to wrap up with your question you got.
Ooh, which one?
About age or something?
Age, yes. Age differences. When does it matter? I'm going to give a disclaimer right here by saying keep it legal.
Oh yeah, that again, that's in that category of it's a given.
In this country, we hope. We
Okay.
hope. And then there's places in Utah where who knows.
Oh Lord. Okay.
Aren't you glad you invited me back?
Oh God, we'll get an email about that.
I didn't say where exactly. Could be somebody I know for all they. Anyway, so I think after a certain point, and I know this probably sounds like a safe answer, but after a certain point, I think age kind of disappears and you are left with cultural awareness. You're left with education. You're left with goals.
Hey guys, again, thank you for listening. We appreciate your feedback. Appreciate everything that you're giving us. The questions, keep them coming in. If you're enjoying what we got going on, much appreciated. I am attempting to do a much bigger overall scope of entertainment, and I'm trying to sign a multi-project deal with Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, or Apple. If you're enjoying this and you think it would be good on their platform, think this could help other people, and you think this would be beneficial, please reach out to one of those four, or all four, matter of fact, Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, and Apple. Let them know that you dig what we're doing, and let them know that you think it would be good on their network. Thank you. Bye.
Common goals. You're left with so much, but I think that probably disappears after your 30s.
Yeah, I can see that. I've tend to always been on the other side of this because 98% of all my relationships, the woman was older.
Really?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
You like the older women?
Oh, no question. No question.
Oh, do share. Why?
Well,
Tell us why.
in the beginning, I was stupid because I tended to believe that, I was always focused on where I was wanting to do, where I was trying to create, where I was trying to go. And this really started happening to me about high school. I know people from high school probably laughing because there was some drama that popped off when I was in high school. But
Ooh, what, relationships and drama? No.
yeah. I got caught up. I started talking to this. I started having a conversation with this woman, and I lied to her about my age. I told her that I was in college.
Oh my God.
Okay. All right.
Oh boy.
And I wasn't. I was in high school, and this lie kept progressing, and it was like, okay. And then I did the typical man thing. Men, they commit to the lie, they're gonna see the lie through. So I did that, and how I got caught. How I got caught was.
I swear to God, if you're about to tell me she was your teacher, I'm gonna die.
No,
Okay.
But how I got caught was she was looking through her daughter's yearbook,
Oh no. Oh, that's even worse.
and she and she saw a picture of me in her daughter's yearbook, and her daughter was older. Her daughter was a year older than me, so that's how I got
Oh.
that's how I got caught up.
Mrs. Robinson.
That's how I got caught up. But anyway, the point is that I tended to gravitate towards older women because personality wise, like I couldn't. It was very annoying to me to be around women at the time that were my age because it was like, hey, what do you want to do in life? And they didn't know, or it was always changing, or they wasn't really sure, and I didn't really have a whole lot to really connect with them on. And I found with older women, it was like they were more grounded. They kind of had a sense of direction. They tended to kind of have out mapped where they wanted to go. We could just have conversations. So it was one thing I can't stand is making plans with somebody and they break their plans. Because, I treat my time very precious. So it was like, and, when I was dealing at the time with chicks that were like close to my age, it was like they were flaky. It was like, and they just expected me to take that in the chest. I'm not that dude. It's like, you don't make plans with me on Wednesday, and just because whatever reason you're going to cancel them, I could have done something else. You know what I mean? So I found with older women, I didn't really have that. So I thought, right? And then the longer I was out there, I started discovering, when I was in my early 30s and I was dating women, 45, 50. One was like 53, okay? I start discovering there's just as many older women, they don't know what they want any more than younger women.
Yeah.
And, that kind of flipped the whole script and how I looked at things. But, that's why. So that's just me personally. I had more in common with an older woman because a lot of the pettiness and me, I was never that cat trying to figure myself out. I knew who I was going to be. I knew what I wanted to do. I've known that since I was in high school. So it was hard for me to relate to somebody that didn't know that. Because it was like they're trying to figure things out. And I'm like, man, you gotta have your plan. You got to have your goals. You can, get in a coaching program, something, And yeah. I just couldn't relate to that. So
I was always surrounded by older people. And I found them fascinating. I loved their stories. I loved what I could learn from them.
Yeah.
So I too, at a young age, I gravitated more towards older, and it's very interesting. Now I'm in my early 30s, and people older than me in my age, they depress the hell out of me.
Yeah.
Now it's very interesting. I gravitate towards people who are younger than me. I like their energy. I like their creativity. They're not jaded.
Yes.
A lot of people my age are
bitter.
They're married or they have been married.
Yeah.
They have kids. They have it's a different lifestyle, and nothing's wrong with that. But the attitude, yes, some are very bitter, and not to say that we all don't get bumps and bruises along. We all do, but yeah, it's very interesting how there's been this switch from looking up to these people who have stories and have this life that they've lived and they inspire you. And now I'm getting that from people who are younger.
Yeah, I think, and this is a question that I have personally and also from the male team, is why does it seem like it's more accepted when you see a man 20 years older than his woman?
Oh, that's a cultural thing.
But it's I perform at a lot of country clubs. Okay. I'm a golfer. I perform at a lot of country clubs. And I'll go to these business functions and you see these guys, 50s, and they're with a woman your age. And it's like...
Oh, I've seen it even younger. 55-year-old man with a 23-year-old on his arm, who is not his daughter. Yeah.
So
I've seen it.
So
and,
So my question is twofold. Why is that more accepted? And I know this might be, some people say, well, Dewayne, this is an obvious answer, but I want to ask anyway, how do younger women rationalize that that's okay being with a man that much older?
I do not agree with that. Like I said, after a certain age, the whole age barrier tends to dwindle. But when you're a 23-year-old young woman with a 55-year-old man, there are exceptions, I'm sure, but it's usually a money thing. And I hate saying that, but it is true.
So these younger women accept being with an older man because
they don't have to work, or the lifestyle is very appealing.
And they're willing to take that hit in the chest that he's just 55 years old.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a whole culture, especially here in Florida, of sugar daddies and sugar babies. They pay their college because of that relationship. Wow. Oh yeah, that's another question that I'd love to talk about when we have more time.
Wow.
Because a lot of people don't see anything wrong with it. They see it as a business transaction. They don't see it as prostitution.
What? What
the
hell?
Yeah. It's a culture.
But it seems. But here's what I don't know though. Here's what I don't understand is it's
fascinating.
I feel like it's just changing. It's changing to, there was this whole thing where they, it was this time here several years ago. It was kind of this joke of a cougar where the woman was 10 years, 20 years older than the guy she was dating. Why is that not as accepted?
It's becoming more so simply because it wasn't normal. It wasn't the norm. But the more people see it, I think we just the way that we are programmed as human beings, when we see an exception to what we have been programmed to see as a rule, when we see a variant of that, then we focus on that and we pounce on that, because that seems, anything strange out of the norm, that's a threat. That's a threat to our structure, our society, our family, fill in the blank. But the more we see of that, oh, okay, it's not a threat. Oh, okay, it might be a little different. Oh, okay, it's we've seen that with so many different things that come into culture and music and movies. After a while, the shock factor is gone.
Well, I have told several men, many men, especially young cats, for several years, my dogs, brothers, bros, fellas, look, if you haven't dated an older woman, you're missing the boat. You sleeping.
That's great.
You are sleep. You are sleeping. And that's all I'm going to say, keeping this as nice as I can say it. Y'all, if y'all out there dealing with these 20-somethings, that's cool. But y'all, trust me, y'all sleeping. If you 23, my dog, go find you about a 47-year-old and come back and talk to me.
I think that might be a bit much.
Nah, trust me, it's cool. It'll work.
All right.
It'll work.
I'm not even gonna. I'm gonna let you have your thing.
Trust me, it'll work. It will work. It will be all right. He will be. Put it this way: he will come back educated. He will come back with a.
This is going.
He will come back.
Our last question: why do men think with their genitals?
He will come back with a different point of view on life. Yes, for sure. So we're gonna wrap this up. We went a little long. That's okay.
You, Mrs. Robbins.
hey, if you out there, go. Hey, I'm telling you, these young cats, go for it. I'm telling you, if you ain't doing it.
One day I'm gonna be an older woman, so yeah, sure.
Yeah, for real. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap this up. Call it a day. Hope you all enjoyed what we had to present today. Hopefully got your questions. If you got questions, text them in. 813-534-0169. Call in your question. Leave a voicemail. 813-534-0169. We will get you your questions as fast as possible.
Give us comments, too.
Yeah, leave your comments in the episode notes. Leave them on YouTube, where we have 2 channels that we created that's going to house this series and another series that I'm also co-producing. It's called Magic DTV. If you go to YouTube, type in Magic DTV, subscribe. More things are coming out of the pipe. We're going to release a new show. The plan is we're going to do one every single week. Then we get the more questions we get, the more shows we'll be able to release. So Magic DTV is in YouTube. Magic DTV is on Facebook. You can like, share, subscribe, or you can go to any one of those search bars and just type in Men's Secrets Podcast. And the episodes and the different show notes, all those should come up. So we enjoy your feedback. We love your questions. Keep sending them in. Keep listening. Share them with your friends. Hope you got something out of it. Thank all of you. Enjoy the rest of your week and have a good day. Bye.
Bye-bye.